What is up guys, I do hope you're well, and firstly I would just like to say a massive thank you for basically hanging around. I haven't been posting for the last 2 to 3 days simply because we had a death in the family. I posted it on Discord and it was all pretty traumatic, and I've just been looking after my family and things like that. So I do apologise for not being around, and thank you for all of the supportive messages you've been sending. Reading the comments and things just have been absolutely amazing, so thank you so much guys, love you. If you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe button, maybe even the notification bell, and joining us in Discord. Now let's get straight back into it. Eeehm puts her kid in my super sweaty costume when my back is turned. I'm a professional mermaid performer and I was hired for an event at a museum. I have a $3,000 costume made of silicone that functions in water, movie SFX quality. I've been working the show and it was super hot out. I was sweating buckets and there's nowhere for it to go apart from in the tail. They aren't exactly breathable. A mum was there with her child, not exactly rude but a bit pushy on the questions and where she could buy her daughter a costume like mine. Ha. I tried to explain that she couldn't buy one. This was back before they were commercially available for kids. I also tried to let her know that she was ruining the magic by asking me costume details in front of the guests and distracting me from my job. A little while later I took my lunch break. My assistant carried me into the storage room. The museum had left for me to use to change and keep my gear in while I went for breaks. I was so disgustingly sweaty that the tail slid off me with an audible slopping noise. Oh, grim. Normally in a situation like this, I'd start wiping it out with Lysol wipes and then dry it with a towel. But I was so hungry and thirsty, I decided I'd have to do that bit when I got back from food. So I folded it up, set it aside, left the room and shut the door. This wasn't a room available to the public and it wasn't obvious that it was there. I go for lunch and when I come back the door is open. I walk in and there is Eeehm with her kid in my costume, sweat and all. This kid had a very grossed out look on her face. Mum is shocked that she's caught and she said, "We just wanted a picture." And I started going on how dirty the costume was, but also how expensive it was, and shooed her and her kid out of the room. I couldn't believe it. I cleaned the thing out and it was literally pouring sweat out of it. I can't believe she put her kid in it. It was so gross. It took me a good 10 minutes to clean it up so I could put it back on and go out for the rest of my set. After that, the museum gave me a key so I could lock the room. Been doing this gig for 7 years now. I have a million of these stories. Owning a mermaid entertainment company, it never ceases to amaze me how entitled parents can get. It's rarely the kids causing the problems. Yeah, I think it was the graphic detail of explaining the slopping noise of pulling it off. I just got the sound of like this. Grim. Eeehm tries to get me expelled for bringing my snake to school with permission. So I have a corn snake. She's tiny, like 1.5 inches in diameter on the biggest part of her body. Her name is Cornflake. I also go to charter school that does project-based learning. So if our teacher gives us a project and we have another idea that accomplishes the same criteria, we can usually do it if we ask. So in my science class we did a unit on evolution, and I wanted to make a presentation on snakes and how they evolved into what they are today. I also asked to bring my snake in for presentation and got permission, after my teacher and I cleared up with the class to make sure no one was like deathly afraid of snakes. So the presentation day comes and I'm out there talking and this girl, e.g., ignores the sign on the door that says "Presentations in progress, do not disturb," and walks in and starts talking loudly to the teacher. Teacher explained that she had to leave and the girl scoffed and rolled her eyes but went to leave. She sees me and the snake. "I don't like snakes." "Okay." "You're not allowed to have that here, it's gross." I got permission. E.g., go to class. "But it's a snake, it should be dead, not in school." Me backing away because I literally had someone try to kill a corn snake before. "Well then go away and you won't have to look at her." "Hey, teacher, Opie is being rude." "Go to class, E.G." E.G. scowled and stormed out the room. Everybody just sort of rolled their eyes and I finished my presentation. I figured that would be the end of it, but when I went to get Cornflake at the end of the day, I had to leave her in the office during all of my other classes. The girl and her mum, Eeehm, were already in there. The girl was literally sobbing, saying I traumatised her and threatened to have my snake eat her and chased her with it. And Eeehm was screaming about how I should be expelled for bringing a snake anywhere near school. The office ladies were trying to calm the two down and asked if what the girl was saying was true. Obviously I said no, so they called the teacher to confirm what happened. Teacher explained. Girl said he was lying. I was allowed to go home. Later my advisor told me that the mum tried to get me expelled and the teacher fired. and she was planning to sue us for emotional damages. But I never heard anything from the parents about that, so I guess she didn't go through with it. Here's the snake. Oh my god. I've never heard of a charter school before. I don't know if that's just because I'm thick as shit, but I like the idea of project-based learning and how you can change it up yourself as long as it meets the criteria. I think that's great. Shame about the stupid parents though. You're a capable young man, so I can grab whatever I want from your shopping cart. Details: I'm 17 and live in the UK. This happened around December of last year, happened in Lidl to be exact. Now this is going to be a very long read, so be prepared. My mum asked me to go grocery shopping because she was quite busy with something, and I agreed to go, so I went to Lidl. I spent around 10 minutes looking for things on the shopping list. I decided to get a treat for myself because why not? And so I got some Fin Carré chocolate. No, this chocolate was not sold at the till in this location. I finally finished everything and made my way to the till. I was standing in line while using my phone, just minding my own business, until this overly loud parent with a hyperactive kid, who looked around 8, came behind me in the line. You wouldn't mind letting us go in front of you, would you? I looked down at her cart, which seemed a lot more full than mine, and I decided I'm not in a rush, so why not? I replied, sure, and subtly smiled. She thanked me and went on to go in front of me. My impression of this woman seemed normal, until this happened. The EK said as he was pointing to my cart, "Mum, look, it's the chocolate that you promised to buy me next time we go shopping." "Oh yes, darling, I just remembered." The EM looked up at me and said, "May I grab that chocolate bar?" The little one's been eager to get it. Now this chocolate is somewhat far from the tills in this location, and as mentioned earlier, it isn't sold at the tills, so getting a new chocolate bar for myself would have been a chore. I replied, "I'm sorry, I don't think I can give you the chocolate, it's quite far from the tills." Her smile quickly turned into a death stare, and she said in a loud voice, "Right, I don't care how far the chocolate is from here. Now someone like you is more than capable of getting a new bar, so stop making George cross." I replied, "I don't care how capable I am. I'm not going anywhere and this chocolate is staying in this cart." Now there was a lot going through my head at this point, but I remember how EK was reaching inside my cart trying to grab the chocolate, so I quickly grabbed it myself and held it in my hand. "Mum, the guy took the chocolate!" Right, I've had enough. The EM reached to my hand to grab the chocolate, but I moved in time and decided to go directly to the cashier and ask him to call the manager. Now the cashier seemed to have witnessed everything, and so he informed the manager about what happened. No more than 2 minutes of me awkwardly standing and the manager arrives. She walks up to EM and quietly asks her to leave, and the EM kept trying to incriminate me somehow until she finally paid for her groceries and left. Me, the cashier and manager all had a laugh about it after she left. Now that I think about it, the scene wasn't worth a chocolate bar, but oh well. My man, everything's worth a chocolate bar. If you picked up that chocolate bar, you fight for that until your death. It's always the parents, isn't it? It's like, never the kids. I know the kids said, "Oh look, mum, the guy took the chocolate," but it's always the parents that create the big scene over it. I mean, just leave the queue. The guy was already nice enough to let you in front of him in the queue, for God's sake. How dare you touch my daughter's bra? Happened to a male co-worker of mine. I'm never on cash register, but I had the fortune of cleaning something nearby when this occurred and got to witness the fun. CW was at his register when EM with a young teen daughter came up with their purchases. He greeted them and started scanning their items. Everything was normal. Then he picked up the bra to scan it and take the hard tag off. "What do you think you're doing?" "I'm sorry? Why are you fondling my daughter's bra?" "Oh, I need to scan it, that's all." "Get someone else to do it." "I don't understand the problem, mum." At this point the daughter was red in the face and nudging her mum, asking her to let it go. But no, EM wasn't screaming, but she was definitely being loud. She started calling CW a pervert and indecent, saying that the gentleman should never touch a young woman's underwear. CW was trying to explain that he was just doing his job. Another cashier got the manager, who rushed over. She arrived and asked EM to explain the situation. "This perv was fondling my daughter's new bra. He should have at least called a woman to come handle it. Wasn't he taught this when you hired him? We don't train our employees to do any such thing. We train them to respect every item and every customer. He was fondling my daughter's new bra. He's disgusting." "Mom, CW has worked here 2 years. He scans bras all the time. Trust me, it's not sexual for him." EM yelled at CW and my manager for being disgusting perverts, and said she'd be calling the police on us for condoning paedophilia. She grabbed her embarrassed daughter and stormed out the store. We all had a good chuckle about it. Other customers shook their heads and rolled their eyes. CW was fine. He thought it was ridiculous and funny. He's been retelling the story all day. Ah, can you believe that? Like, fondling the bra. What did you see him doing? I mean, like, was he twiddling with it or something? How did this adult grow up not seeing anyone else, like another male, scan underwear of any sort? I mean, fuck. Anyway, guys, as I mentioned at the start of the video, thank you so much for sticking by me. I really don't know how to explain how much it means. It's just so fantastic of you. Thank you so much. I've been meaning to make like a thank you video. I've been meaning to do it since 1,000 subscribers, and I just haven't got around to do it. I don't know what to do for you guys, because you just keep growing my channel more and more. We keep hitting new milestones like all the time, and I don't know how to say thank you to you guys. So if you do have some ideas, put them down in the comments below, or send me an email, or come join me in Discord, private message me, do whatever you got to do. Thank you so much, guys. Take care now. Goodbye.